Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10.
Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. And yet again this week, there is a ton happening in the secondary market. Commander Legends leaks occurred, and of course, those are having an impact on some card prices. There's been another standard shakeup with some more bannings. There's buyouts continuing, especially on reserve list cards, and a whole lot more. One quick note about this video, though, I'm not going to work the prices from the cards on the list in here yet. They are still very unstable, moving around quite a bit. I'll give it another week or two before I start talking about those. Quickly, though, before I get into it, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order Commander Legends there. You can pick up a draft booster box for $121.50 after you use the Heroes promo code, and that does include shipping in the United States. And if you're still looking to pick up a double Masters booster box, those go down to $297 after the Heroes promo code, and again, of course, free shipping in the US. As always, whenever you use that code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated, so thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, we're going to begin, as we always do, as standard, looking at the top 6 standard legal cards that have lost value this week. So like I said in the intro, there have been some bannings: Omnith Locus of Creation, Lucky Clover, and Escape to the Wilds. And of course, that is shaking up the format yet again. Number 6, though, is Chromatic Orrery. This goes down 81 cents to $10.25, and this comes down a little bit this week. It is a highly played commander card, though, especially good in 5 and 4 color builds. Number 5, Jace Mirror Mage, down 82 cents to $4.06. Not really seeing a whole lot of standard play, at least up until this point. Commander, though, you can find this in Verizal, the split current builds, and more. Number 4 is Brazen Borrower from Throne of Eldraine. It goes down 91 cents to $19. This card was reprinted on the list. Actually, they used the showcase variation of the card in that particular reprinting. And this does see play in standard, Dimir Rogues, also in various control builds and more. In Pioneer, you'll find this in Dimir Control and other decks there. Modern, it's in Blitz, Merfolk, and more places there too. Legacy, it's in Izzet Delver, and yeah, even more decks in Legacy. So this is seeing a ton of play all over the place. When it comes to the Commander, it has seen increased Commander play too, and Anawan the Rune Thief. Now, some players are building around that card from scratch. Others are just going ahead and picking up the Zendikar Rising Commander deck and trying to upgrade it. But either way, it does result in a larger demand for this card right now. This is also in some other newer Commander builds like Tazri Beacon of Unity, Zerath Sand the Trickster, Innie as the Galforce, and Linvala Shield of Seagate. Number 3 is Lithoform Engine, another card that is very solid in Commander, trying to find its price point right now, going down 94 cents to $18.19. And this is in a lot of different builds currently in the Commander format, including new ones like Verizal the Split Current and Omnith Locus of Creation. Number 2 is Elder Gargaroth, down 99 cents to $17. Now, this card was actually moving up aggressively at the end of the last season. As we moved into this season, maybe it saw a little bit less play. Then you couple that with the fact that it was in a lot of the decks that had seen cards banned recently. However, it's still seeing a fair amount of sideboard play in Standard. You'll find this in Mono Green Stompy, Grill Adventures, and more. It also continues to see play in Pioneer, Modern, and Commander. Number 1 is Azusa Lost But Seeking. This is the original copy from Champions of Kamigawa, going down $1.60 to $24.63. Of course, this did get reprinted in Core Set 2021, which is the main reason this card has been soft recently. But also, too, it could be losing a little value due to some of the recent standard bannings. Now, for the most part, this card sees play in Modern and Commander. In Modern, it's in Amulet Titan builds, and Commander, it's in Lands builds and more, including some new builds like Omnith Locus of Creation, Obun Moldiah Ancestor. That is another card that some players are building around from scratch. Others are picking up the Zendikar Rising Lands Wrath Commander deck and just upgrading it. This is also in other new builds like Phyllith World Sculptor and Ashaya Soul of the Wild. And that brings us to the top 5 standard legal cards that have gained value this week. Number 5, Dryad of the Elysian Grove. This goes up 62 cents to $13.99 this week. Even though the recent bannings in Standard have hurt the ramp decks, this card does appear still occasionally. In Modern, though, you'll find this in Amulet Titan and Titan Field. This even has seen a little Legacy play. And of course, in Commander, it's in Lands builds and more, including some new builds like Omnith Locus of Creation, Obun Moldiah Ancestor, and Phyllith World Sculptor. Number 4 is one of the new dual lands. It is Riverglide Pathway. It goes up 73 cents to $6.44. You'll find this one in Grixis Control, Izzet Tempo, and more in Standard. In Pioneer, it's in Is It Phoenix. In Modern, it's in Gift Storm. Also sees a lot of commander play, including in the very popular Omnith Locus of Creation builds. Number 3, Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. This goes up 217 to 1999. This is in a couple big builds now that last round of bannings has occurred, and those builds are Rakdos Midrange and Grixis Control. Also in Pioneer, you'll find this in Rakdos Pyromancer. Modern, it's in a lot of builds, including Rakdos Death Shadow Jund and a whole lot more. It's also a fairly popular commander and shows up in the 99 in many builds there too. Number 2 is Skyclave Apparition, up 322 to 661. This card is a rare and it has been red hot recently. And it's really hot because of the old-fashioned reason that it's seeing a lot of play in a lot of places. In Standard, you're going to find this in Mono White Aggro, Boris Winota, and more. Pioneer, it's in Spirits, Bant Company. Modern, you'll find this in Death and Taxes, Spirits, Titan Field, and more there. Additionally, it's even getting Legacy play in Death and Taxes there in Esper Vial. And it even sees some Commander play too. Number 1, similar story here. This one is a mythic rare though, but it is still seeing play in a lot of places. Agadeem's Awakening. This goes up $3.88 to $20.24. In Standard, this is in Dimir Rogues. Most of the time, you'll find this in Rakdos Midrange there too, and other decks as well. Pioneer, it's in Rakdos Pyromancer, Dredgeless Dredge, Modern, Rakdos Death Shadow, Oops All Spells, and more there. It even gets some Legacy play too, and in Commander, you'll find this in some popular decks like Anawan the Rune Thief, or a Skyclave Hierophant, and much more. That brings us to Pioneer and your top 8 Pioneer legal cards that have lost value this week. Number 8 is Rise of the Dark Realms, the one from Magic 2014. This did get reprinted in Jumpstart, which is why it's soft right now. It goes down 98 cents to 18.13. This is a solid commander card. It's in a lot of new builds too, like Anawan the Rune Thief, Drawn of the Last Blood Chief, Zerath Sand the Trickster, and Tiny Bones Trinket Thief. Number 7 is Aurelia the War Leader. This is the copy from the Guilds of Ravnica Boros Guild kit. This only comes in foil actually for this particular copy. It goes down $1.02 to $18.99 this week. Not too long ago, it spiked pretty aggressively, you might remember that. Since then, it has been normalizing back down, finding its price point. This is a fairly popular commander though, and many times you'll find this in Kali of the Vast builds, which of course that card just got reprinted in Double Masters. Also, this is in new builds like Akira Fearless Voyager. Number 6, the Immortal Sun. This has been losing a fair amount of value recently. This goes down $1.09 to $22.01. Doesn't really see a whole lot of play anywhere but Commander. But in Commander, it does show up in Kozilek the Great Distortion and more. Number 5, Archangel of Thune for Magic 2014. It goes down $1.13 to $14.73. Another card that has been soft because of a recent reprinting, and that's the reprinting that it got in Double Masters. In Commander, you'll find this in Oloro Ageless Ascetic builds, and that was reprinted recently in the list. Also, it's in Kali of the Vast decks, which are very popular, and more. Number 4, Emrakul, The Promised End. It goes down $1.45 to $36.68. Not really a card that sees a lot of Pioneer play right now, but sometimes you can find this in Mono Green Planeswalkers. Modern, though, it is in Tron builds, and of course, it does see Commander play. Many times this is in Kozilek the Great Distortion. That is a deck that got a push recently from a new Zendikar Rising card, Forsaken Monument, so that's worth noting. Also shows up in other builds in the format as well. Number 3 is Darksteel Forge from Darksteel, the original copy. This did get reprinted, though, in Double Masters, which again is why it has been soft. It goes down $1.52 to $16.90 this week. And you'll find this in a number of Commander builds where the Commander was also recently reprinted in Double Masters. Things like Breya Ethereum Shaper, Bosch Iron Golem, and Brutaclad Telcor Engineer. This is another card that does show up many times in those Kozilek the Great Distortion builds, too. Number 2, another card reprinted in Double Masters. It is Thoughtseize. Again, we're looking at the original copy, this time from Lorwyn. It goes down $1.73 to $27.76. Now, this does see play in numerous builds in Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, even sees some Commander play, but again, it is going down because of that recent reprinting. And number 1, did you think you were really going to get away from Omnith Locus of Creation? This goes down $2.97 to $19.06. Of course, the reason it's losing value is because it was banned in Standard this week. But remember, it does see play in a lot of other places. Pioneer, Niv to Light, Omnith Ramp, 4-color Reclamation, Yorion Ramp. In Modern, you'll find this in 4-color Uro, Niv to Light, 5-color Elementals, and more. And this has been a wildly popular commander, as well as being part of the 99 of many builds, too. That takes us to the top 6 Pioneer legal cards that have gained value this week, and yet again, you're going to notice as we move forward in the video, the key driver for cards going up in value continues to be Commander. As much as I would like to talk more about cards that see play in Pioneer and Modern, Legacy, and Vintage, that is just not where the money is going right now. Number 6, Liliana of the Dark Realms, the one from Magic 2014. It goes up 79 cents to 1965. This card's been pretty turbulent. It's been going up and down, trying to find its price point. This has been seeing a fair amount of Commander play in Carrick, Son of Yawgmoth builds and much more. Number 5 is Finale of Devastation. It goes up 98 cents to 21.98, and you're going to find this one in Modern Devoted Devastation builds, of course. It has seen increased Commander play, though, recently, too. An Omnith Locus of Creation, Ishaya Soul of the Wild, Phyllith World Sculptor, and Obun Moldaya Ancestor. Number 4, Ramanap Excavator. This goes up $1.96 to $14.72. This is another card that does see some play in Modern. Selesnya Titanfield also does see some Legacy play too. But the reason we're talking about it today really is because it is another highly played Commander card in lands builds and more. It is seeing more play now in all these new builds. Omnith Locus of Creation, Obun Moldaya Ancestor, Phyllith World Sculptor. It also got another Command Zone podcast mention this week, which could have brought some attention to it too. Sword of the Animist comes in at number 3, and 3 copies to talk about today. Mystery Booster goes up 98 cents to $11.09. Magic Origins up $1.13 to $11.18. Commander 2017 up $3.29 to $12.93. Now this card's been seeing play in Sir Gwyn Hero of Ashvale builds and more recently, but notice that it does let you search for a basic land and put it directly into play, which might be good for some lands builds. It does depend though on how many basics they are actually running. With that being said, however, this is showing up in a lot of new Commander decks. Anawan the Rune Thief, Akiri Fearless Voyager, Charix the Raging Isle, Omnith Locus of Creation, and Phyllith World Sculptor. Number 2, it's good old Crucible of Worlds yet again. Fifth Dawn up $1.33 to $55.39. Corset 2019 up $1.43 to $43.58. And 10th edition goes up $4.04 this week to $51.99. Again, a card that doesn't necessarily see Pioneer play. It does see play in Modern, Legacy, and Vintage. Maybe not as much as it was seeing a few months ago, but it is still kicking around in all those formats. But again, the reason it's here today is because it is a highly played Commander card in lands builds and more, and it is seeing increased play in Omnith Locus of Creation, Obun Moldaya Ancestor, Phyllith World Sculptor, and again, this is another card that got an additional Command Zone mention this week. And number 1 is Scapeshift. This is the Morningtide copy going up $5.14 this week to $23.91. And of course, this is in Scapeshift decks in Modern, but again, the main reason it's moving this much this week is because of Commander. Another great card to have in lands builds, including new ones like Omnith Locus of Creation, Obun Moldaya Ancestor, and Phyllith World Sculptor. And that brings us to Modern, and your top 6 Modern legal cards that have lost value this week. Number 6 is Kozilek Butcher of Truth from Modern Masters 2015. It goes down $2.51 to $56.49. However, another copy is going up in value. You're going to see that in just a moment. This does see play in Mardu Stoneblade builds in Modern. Sometimes it does see some Legacy play in Mono Green Cloudpost. Also another good Commander card for Kozilek the Great Distortion builds and more. Number 5 is Braid of Fire from Cold Snap. It goes down $2.55 to $19.95. This was recently reprinted as a foil in WPN Mystery Boosters. That's part of the reason it is soft right now. Also, you are seeing a retraction from some big spikes that occurred back when Leyline Tyrant was previewed in Zendikar Rising. Those two cards do play well together in Commander, and this continues to see play in decks like Xantcha Sleeper Agent and more. Number 4 is Vexing Shusher. This is the one from Shadowmoor. It goes down $2.56 to $13.21. This was reprinted in Double Masters, which is why it's losing value right now. It is a popular Commander card though, sees play many times in competitive builds there, and it has seen increased play in Omnith Locus of Creation decks. Number 3, Sliver Legion from Future Sight does continue to lose more value. It goes down $3.35 to $92.98. This card was hot for a long time because a lot of players were building Sliver Commander decks after they reprinted Sliver Hivelord and Sliver Overlord. Finally now we're starting to see some slightly more significant normalization from this card. Number 2 is Gift of Estates from Portal. It goes down $4.82 to $5.82 this week. Now, this is a card that does see a fair amount of Commander play, sure, but the reason it's going down this much this week is because it spiked a lot last week and now everything is just normalizing back down. That does happen a lot of times with the Portal copies of cards because they are harder to find in good condition, and sometimes they dry up in the online marketplace for a week or so, and then when people see that the value is creeping up on the card, they go ahead and try to sell them, they put more copies out there for sale, and that brings the price back down. Number 1, Staff of Domination from Fifth Dawn. It goes down $6.85 to $52.25. This card has been super hot recently. It's a popular Commander card in numerous builds. It's a great way to get something out of your extra mana in Commander, but it's also a good combo enabler too. So why is it losing this much value right now? because this past week we had a leak of a number of Commander Legends cards, and this was one of them. So yes, this is going to be reprinted in Commander Legends. Now that news is getting out there, this card is losing value. That takes us to the top 5 modern legal cards that have gained value this week. Number 5 is Thada Adela Inquisitor, up 226 this week to 1218. Of course, this card has been hot. It is a rogue. It has seen increased commander play in Anawan the Rune Thief, Tazri Beacon of Unity, Zarathsan the Trickster, and Linvala Shield of Seagate. Number 4 is that other Kozilek Butcher of Truth, I promise. This is the one from Rise of the Eldrazi. It goes up 232 this week to 61.99. Number 3, Eternity Vassal. This card's been getting hot. It goes up 235 to 751. It has seen increased commander play, of course, in Omnith Locus of Creation builds. This was also in a Obun Moldaya Ancestor build that they played on Commander Versus last week. Number 2 is Grave Pact. This is the one from 8th edition, going up 288 to 2703, as this particular copy is drying up a little bit online this week. Now, this has seen increased commander play in Aura Skyclave Hierophant builds recently, but there's another reason this could be moving a little bit. Again, it goes back to one of those Commander Legends leaks. I don't want to tell you too much about the details in those leaks because there's a lot of people that might not want to know about it, but I will give you the name of the card in case you want to research it yourself. Now, the cards that were leaked were German language cards, so they are loose translations, but a card that could play well with this in the future is called the Veshzat Doom of Fools. And number 1, Omnith Locus of Mana. This is the copy from Worldwake. It goes up 625 to 42.89. Now, this is getting reprinted in Commander Collection Green. However, this particular copy remains hot, as you can see here. It has been a popular commander for a while. It's now seeing increased play in builds like Omnith Locus of Creation and Ashaya Soul of the Wild. And that brings us to the Vintage Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that see play in Vintage, Legacy, 93, 94, and cards that are popular and important to collectors, which recently has meant following a lot of buyouts more than anything. Now, the buyouts are calming down a little bit compared to a few weeks ago, but there's still quite a few going on. And as I have been doing recently in this section, I'm only going to tell you if the card is not on the reserve list. City of Traders, this goes up 463 to 203.74. Great legacy card. It's an Omnitel, Mono Red Prison, Karn Echoes, Mono Green Cloudpost, and more. Badlands from Revised. A lot of these revised dual lands are starting to creep up again. They did lose value a little bit here or there for about a week or two, but many of them are bouncing back. This goes up 555 to 349.85 this week. Yawgmoth's Will from Urza's Saga. This got one more reprinting as a Judge Foil before they closed that loophole. It goes up 689 this week to 195.95. Great vintage and commander card. Vevictus Ismati. This is the one from Legends. This is not on the reserve list. As a matter of fact, if you want a cheap copy, there was one printed in Chronicles. This one, though, goes up 1040 this week to 4402. Fastbond from Unlimited goes up 1277 this week to 84.99. Plateau from Revised up 1395 to 219.95. Berserk from Unlimited, not on the reserve list, but this copy goes up 1428 to 116.23. Underground Sea from Revised up 1520 to 649.99. Dakin Blackblade from Legends, not on the reserve list, another card that was reprinted in Chronicles, but this copy goes up 1843 to 78.94. Savannah from Revised up 1929 to 253.75. Tundra from Revised up 2416 to 445.55. Angus Mackenzie. From this point forward in the section, I'm going to let you know two things. One, what the theoretical price is if you were to look at some of the big websites right now. And two, what the cards are actually selling for, because there is some market manipulation going on out there, and you're going to see more of it as we talk about some of these expensive cards. So this one is going up in theory $33.97 to $299.99. That's actually pretty close. The high-grade copies have been selling for about $225 recently. Howling Mine from Unlimited, not on the reserve list. It goes up $35.56 to $157.49, and that is about right if you're looking at what high-grade copies have sold for recently. Ali from Cairo up $52.80 to $284.97. Close. High-grade copies are selling for around $230 right now. Guardian Beast goes up $55.79 to $482.48. And again, that is pretty much right on if you compare it to recent sales. Argivian Archaeologist up $60.19 to $199.99. Again, pretty close. High-grade copies have been selling for $150 to $175. Forcefield from Unlimited. This one's pretty close too. I've been seeing high-grade copies selling for around this price point. This goes up $76.11 to $305.57. Bayou, same thing here. When you look at these prices, they do seem relatively accurate. Revised goes up $7.93 to $439.95. Unlimited up $87.99 to $789.99. Nether Void up $129.70 to $7.99, or is it? Recent sales for high-grade copies have been around $540. Moat, this goes up in theory $268.80 to $1,100. High-grade copies have been selling around $750. Mox Emerald from Unlimited, this is actually pretty close if you want a high-grade copy. It goes up $444.54 to $2,984.99. And the exaggerated price of the week yet again goes to Mishra's Workshop. It goes up in theory $1,199.99 this week to $9,499.98. In reality, high-grade copies are selling for around $3,000, which is higher than they were selling a couple of weeks ago. So this type of market manipulation does leave an impact. It does make people feel a little bit better about paying more for the cards. This isn't necessarily about trying to sell a copy for $9,500. This is about trying to raise the prices generally, even if it is just a little bit. And that brings us to the Commander Spotlight. A lot of cards to talk about, so let's get right into them. Timber Protector, this goes up $1.02 to $8.95. This is seeing some increased Commander play in Ashaya Soul of the Wild builds. Nesting Dragon up $1.02 to $12.37. Good in Commander Lands builds, Dragon builds, and more. This is seeing more Commander play in Omnith Locus of Creation, Phylith World Sculptor, and Obun Moldiah Ancestor. Didgeridoo, this is on the reserve list. It goes up $1.02 this week to $23.80. This is one of those cards that looked like it was the target of a buyout not too long ago. Since then, there has been some panic buying. A lot of players will see these buyouts occur, and they start to worry that they're going to either go higher in the future, or in some cases, which you'll see later in this section, you might have a reserve list card that's not that expensive yet, but people think it might be going up in value soon, so they start trying to pick it up, and that does result in an increase in value. Now, this card has seen more Commander play recently in Sethron Herloon general builds. Thawing Glaciers from Alliances. Now, this is another reserve list card, but it did get a reprinting as a Judge Foil before they closed that loophole. It goes up $1.03 this week to $29.75. And of course, this is seeing increased play in Omnith Locus of Creation Commander builds. Unholy Grotto goes up $1.05 to $10.23. Now, this could be seeing a little bump because of the Walking Dead Secret Lair, perhaps. This also does see Commander play in builds like Verena Lich Queen and the Scarab God, which of course got reprinted recently in Double Masters. But I think the main reason this is moving right now is again Commander Legends leaks. There's two cards that might play well with this that I saw. Tormod the Grave Robber and Elvish Dread Prince. Windborn Muse from 10th edition up $1.17 to $6.73. Popular Commander card sees some increased play now in Inez the Galforce builds. Nature's Will up $1.18 to $25. Another really good Commander card many times found in the popular Najeela the Blade Blossom decks. Empress Galena up $1.22 to $17.05. This is in Kumina builds and more. This also could be getting a push from the upcoming Commander Legends, even if it is just generally. You know there's going to be a number of legendary cards coming in that set, and a number of them were leaked this week. Mazavith, the original one from the Dark, it goes up $1.24 to $29.23. This was reprinted in Double Masters, but this copy is still going up. Very popular Commander card in multiple builds, and also it does see legacy play in lands, 4-color loam, and sometimes in mono green Cloudpost. Illusions of Grandeur, this one is on the reserve list. It goes up $1.39 to $12.12, and this has seen some increased Commander play recently in Inez the Galforce builds again. However, this is a card that many times you'll find in Zedruu the Great-Hearted decks, and we found out through the leak that that card is being reprinted in Commander Legends. Vampiric Tutor from Visions, it goes up $1.40 to $101.84. Great tutor for Commander and Vintage. Wheel of Fortune, this is the one from Revised that is on the reserve list. It did get reprinted as a Judge Foil again before they closed that loophole. It sees Vintage play. It's a very popular Commander card, especially in competitive builds. This copy goes up a little bit this week at $1.46 to $226.88, but this could be an indication that this card has leveled off and might start climbing again. Bitter Blossom, now this is the one from the Bitter Blossom Dream Secret Lair. It has seen increased Commander play in Anawan the Rune Thief and Kel's Fight Fixer recently. Also, it does see some modern play too. It goes up $1.47 to $44.49. Cloak and Dagger, this is from Morningtide. It's an uncommon, and it's going up $1.52 to $3.95. I'll use my one per video. You know that this is the time period of Magic where there was a recession in the game. Less packs were cracked. So sometimes when these cards get a little attention, they tend to spike, even the uncommons once in a while. Now, the reason this does have attention on it is because it does interact with the rogue creature type. And it is seeing increased Commander play in Anawan the Rune Thief and Zareth San the Trickster. Archfiend of Despair up $1.57 to $22.56. This combos with a card from Zendikar Rising, Scourge of the Skyclaves. This is in many Kali of the Vast builds and has seen a little increased play in Tabarak's Hope's Demise decks. Oracle Moldaya, this is the one from Jumpstart, going up $1.62 to $39.10, highly played commander card in lands builds and more. Seeing more play now in Omnith Locus of Creation, Phylith World Sculptor, and Obun Moldaya Ancestor. Enlightened Tutor, the one from Eternal Masters, up $1.63 to $49.90. This is actually being reprinted right now on the list, but this copy still going up in value. Highly played tutor in many commander builds, also does see a little legacy play in Painter Grindstone. Mind Slicer from 9th edition, up $1.65 to $17.86. This has seen increased commander play in Tiny Bones Trinket Thief builds recently. Temporal Manipulation from Portal 2nd Age. This is another card that's being reprinted on the list, but this particular copy is drying up a little online this week. It goes up $1.65 to $37.85. And this is another popular commander card in Narset Enlightened Master builds and more. Trade Routes. This has been seeing increased commander play in Omnith Locus of Creation and Charix the Raging Isle. 8th edition goes up $1.56 to $4.99. Mercadian Masks up $1.75 to $7.97. 9th edition up $1.80 to $6.98. Stone Calendar on the reserve list up $1.85 to $22.53. This does see a little commander play here or there, but for the most part it feels like a panic buy more than anything to me right now. Necropotence, this is the Deckmasters Garfield vs. Finkel copy. This particular copy only comes in foil. It goes up $1.85 this week to $50.88. Very popular commander card, and it is seeing more play now in Aura Skyclave Hierophant builds. Also, it's in Vintage Doomsday and more there. Here's another card you might find in those Kozilek the Great Distortion commander decks and other places too. It is Ulamog the Infinite Gyre. This is the copy from Ultimate Masters, going up $2 to $45.26. Horn of Greed from Stronghold up $202 to $10.48. This is seeing some increased commander play in Omnith Locus of Creation, Phylith World Sculptor, Ashaya Soul of the Wild, and Obun Moldaya Ancestor. Phyrexian Dreadnought, this is on the reserve list. It did get reprinted though as a Judge Foil before they closed that loophole. This copy goes up $204 to $59.41. Sometimes this is in Commander Selvala Heart of the Wilds builds, and Selvala did get reprinted in Mystery Boosters as well as Jumpstart. Renin 6 from Modern Horizons, another card that did get reprinted on the list. It goes up $205 to $63. This is seeing increased commander play in Omnith Locus of Creation and Obun Moldaya Ancestor. In Modern though, this sees play in Uro Piles, Jund, Niv to Light, Gruul Midrange, and more. Also see some vintage play too. Branching Evolution, one of the new cards from Jumpstart, and Wizards has said they're going to try to work out the supply issues with this product. But like we've been talking over the last few weeks, I'm a little hesitant to think it's going to make that much of a difference this late. I think a lot of stores are just going to move on because there's so much new product out there. But anyway, this card goes up $211 this week to $27.89. It has seen more commander play since Zendikar Rising came out. It's in builds like Verizal the Split Current, Obun Moldaya Ancestor, Grakma Skyclave Ravager, and more. Auriok Champion. First off, you may recognize this as a pretty popular card in Modern. It's in Humans, Selesnya Company, and more there. It has, however, seen increased commander play recently in Aura Skyclave Hierophant builds. Notice it is a Cleric. Beyond that, this is a mono-white human, and there could be some folks out there that want to build around that Rick Grimes card from the controversial Walking Dead Secret Lair, Rick Grimes Steadfast Leader. The Iconic Masters copy of this goes up $1.33 to $10.08. Fifth Dawn goes up $2.18 to $14.34. Earthcraft, this one is on the reserve list. It goes up $2.24 to $105.59. It has seen some increased commander play in Ashaya Soul of the Wild builds. Bone Dancer, another card on the reserve list. It goes up $2.52 to $11.49. It does see a little play in Commander, but again, I feel like this is maybe more of a panic buy than anything. Scorched Ruins, this one is also on the reserve list, up $2.61 to $40.70. This is in some Commander Kozilek the Great Distortion builds and other places too in the format. Multani Maro Sorcerer, this is on the reserve list. It goes up $2.98 to $9.42. Again, you have a card here that sees at least a little commander play here or there, but this is most likely a panic buy or maybe the beginning of a targeted buyout. Baron Sengir, this one's on the reserve list, up $3.26 to $23.80. Sees a little bit of commander play. This was the target of a buyout not too long ago, though. Since then, the price has come down quite a bit, but I think what you're seeing this week is maybe a panic buy. Once the card got down around $20, a lot of players thought, okay, this is the time to pick it up in case it spikes again. Burgeoning, this one is a highly played commander card in lands builds and more. It has seen increased play in your favorite commander decks, Omnith Locus of Creation, Obun Moldaya Ancestor, and Phylith World Sculptor. The Commander 2016 copy up $1.09 to $22.59. Conspiracy Take the Crown goes up $3.85 to $22.98. Titania Protector of Argoth, Commander 2014 up $1.34 to $23.49. Commander Anthology up $4.52 to $26.42. This is a fairly popular commander. Also, though, another card that's good in lands builds and is seeing more play in, you guessed it, Omnith Locus of Creation, Ashaya Soul of the Wild, and Obun Moldiah Ancestor. Final Fortune, 2 copies to talk about here. 7th edition up $1.01 to $11.58. Mirage goes up $5.28 to $12.49 this week. So this is in a number of commander builds, including Godo Bandit Warlord, which of course did get reprinted in Double Masters not too long ago. But the reason I think this is going up this much right now is because of Commander Legends and another one of those leaks. This is going to play pretty well with a new card called Obeka Heartless Chronologist. Survival of the Fittest. This is from Exodus. It is on the reserve list, but they did make a judge foil of this one too. It goes up $6.97 to $231.73. This has the increased commander playing Ashaya Soul of the Wild and Yasharn Implacable Earth. Emil the Blessed, one of the popular legendary creatures coming out of the Jumpstart product. It goes up $15.10 this week to $67. And this has been a fairly popular commander, but it is seeing more play now in Omnith Locus of Creation and Yasharn Implacable Earth. Next is Preacher. This is on the reserve list, going up $16.27 this week to $70.36. This card's been hot for a couple weeks now. And make no mistake about it, this is definitely a targeted buyout. That's the only way the card could move the way it is moving. But I do think there's rationale behind this buyout, as there usually is. It's got 2 things going for it. One, it is a cleric, so yes, it has already begun seeing more play in Aura Skyclave Hierophant decks. Secondly, it's another mono-white human that has a unique ability. If a player wants to play around Rick Steadfast Leader in the future, this is a card they might want for that build. That brings us to the premium spotlight. Again, I try to steer clear of the market manipulation that's out there, and there's a lot out there right now. So there are some foils moving that I didn't quite trust, and there's other rare cards that are moving that are obvious cases of market manipulation. One example of that was the Mael the Anima Shards of Alara foil. That was a case of definite manipulation this week. But I do like to pick at least 1 or 2 foil or promo cards that feel like they are moving at least mostly naturally with the market every week. This week I went with 2. They're both cards we talked about earlier in the video. The first is Eternity Vessel. The foil copy from Zendikar goes up $4.46 this week to $27.95. And Cloak and Dagger, the foil copy from Morningtide, goes up $5.65 to $17.67. All right, that does it for this episode of the Market Watch. If you're still here at this point, thank you for sticking with me. As always, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.